Our psychogeography video is mostly located in areas of KL which are MidValley and Bangsar. We started off with Bangsar, an affluent residential suburb on the outskirts of KL, to KL Pac at Sentul West, and ended at MidValley. We had our first stop at the TMC and it was midday when we strolled down and picked up the smell of the place. It's more than the smell of exhaust fumes or the dusty road, it's the smell of fish in the air. The smell led us right to the market outside the supermarket. Standing there, we could see the day's catch and people still walking around the stall for fish and groceries. And then we proceeded to the supermarket, greeted with the sight of people bustling at the entrance. As expected, there were a lot of people in the supermarket and it was pretty narrow as well. Shortly after that, we headed out and crossed the road to Bangsar village. Situated just opposite the small supermarket, Bangsar village is a shopping heaven for the people here, not just for the locals but also for the foreigners. We could see the difference of the structure and architectural design compared to TMC. Next, we found a skywalk, which is an enclosed overhead walkway between buildings. It is understood that Malaysia is hot and people prefer to be inside the air-conditioned skywalk to view what's outside. That kind of explains the growing number of shopping malls in our country. We stepped outside to look around and as expected, cars are everywhere. The buildings were a combination of old and modern ones. People walking in and out of the modern stores and the nicely styled restaurants. Some walked past by us crossing the road. We walked more and got into a place with not so modern stall lots. And as we walked, we found painted walls with pretty creative quotes on them. And the last one hit us strong deep inside. Is this an island of modernity, isolated in the sea of bustle? And hence we wonder, is there even a place at all for us to be in a calm place with all the fast walking and noisy chatters? For us to see something green instead of grey? Is the thing that KL can offer would just be the stylish buildings and the sound of rushing here and there? With that, we decided to go to the west of the city, maybe by going a bit further would lead us somewhere that is not all grey, even though along the way there is a lot of construction before we arrived at the KL Pac. KL Pac is one of the most well-constructed performing arts center located in Sentul Park at Sentul West. It stands out with the grandeur of old charm and modern style among the lush green trees and with a stream flowing beside it. Within the city, here's a park that is full with green and calming scenery, which is for us a quite rare scene to see in the middle of KL. Previously in 1906, it was a location for KTM train depot and train workshop, but then bombed during tail end of World War II, but was soon rebuilt and later abandoned. That explained how we found these old buildings standing tall and beautiful in its own way in the middle of the park. Who would have known such historical view could appear in a place like this? We tried to walk and get closer to it, but we got whistled away by the guards. Is such beauty now something prohibited for us now, we wonder? After spending some time in a beautiful park that gave us some relaxation, we headed to our next stop, which is MidValley Mega Mall. All along the way, there were construction. KL is a city that never stops growing, we supposed. As we were arriving, again the traffic was slowed down due to the lots of cars on the road. From afar, we could already see the tall buildings filling almost half of the view. The mall is designed in such modern and futuristic style, and is filled with a lot of people from all walks of life. We found a skywalk similar to the one in Bangsar. From the skywalk, we could see the view of the wet road hit by the raindrops that had been falling slowly since we arrived. It was cold inside and outside, and the view inside was equally mesmerizing. Christmas was just around the corner, hence there were a lot of people enjoying the view of the Christmas setup in the middle of the mall. We also traced the places like Tanong, Provons, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf Coffee Shop, and Boost Juice that were mentioned in the short story that we chose. We stepped outside again to view the things outside. Compared to Bangsar, it was pretty calming and nice to sit down and relax here, maybe because it's almost the close of the day, but it felt much better than the sizzling hot road in Bangsar. We tried to look for the sunset, but we couldn't see it because the sky is blocked by the skyscrapers. It's pretty sad that the beauty of nature is being interfered with constructions. No sunset with savage orange that flared like a forest fire. Just dull grey due to the cloudy sky with too much constructions replacing most of the sky view. KL is always known as a place for malls, traffic jam and bustling people. We noticed how some of them were old people who sat and relaxed here after a walk inside the mall. Instead of the mall, they should have been outside relaxing in real parks. Perhaps outside of the malls and developed buildings aren't quite safe places for walking and relaxing.